And that has to be a little different, where we're state mandated, or a state statute. It might run a little differently, I'd have to ask them, because there's a state statute budget. I could ask for money, but they can either deny, obviously up or down. Roland says we're gonna go up this year, obviously, because now we've got the help and we've got the stuff to do. Basically last year, I let them roll over $2,700 into the fund, because we have a rollover. Our fund automatically rolls over, whether I spend nothing, or if I spend it all, there's
that's
nothing
good.
there. It rolls over. That's how come we have as much money as we've got at this point, because for the last couple of years, nobody's been taking on this. Last June, last spring anyway, the forestry department no longer wanted the cemetery department. They had asked if somebody would step forward and take it. It was me, myself, and I for almost all last summer until Steve came into play, and then it was just the two of us for the longest time. And in that process, of course, we bought a lawnmower, some miscellaneous stuff we needed to get going. We're thinking we're gonna need, obviously, another lawnmower, because now we've more of us and more to choose, and a few other miscellaneous things to make this work for next year. Those lawnmowers and things were meant for us as a committee to use,
Yep.
not for those that volunteered to use. So, just to let y'all know.
Mhm.
That was for, and because it was just the two of us, he's got the lawnmower at his house. It's only a good place to be, and whatever else you got.
I didn't buy a weed whacker because I already had my own. Just supplies, some loppers, and,
No, I think I might have mentioned to you a little bit, I was talking about putting together a trailer for you all.
Yep.
Because I'd like, you know what you're always gonna need for tools after a while to do this sort of stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't care who would keep it, could be you, Steve, could be one of you. But I've got miscellaneous parts that I could put together something, next summer that you could put all your tools and so forth in it. So when you go to a site, it's there for everybody.
That might be a really good idea.
yeah, for like big projects.
Yeah, I mean, like I built that, I built the tripod already for you all, you just haven't had to use it, but it's for lifting rocks and moving headstones, and, I've got the chain folly for that already, so I mean, that's something that could be stored right in the trailer, so when you need it, you have it, if you don't, it takes 2 minutes to set up.
Yeah, that would be really nice of you, Jay.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know about how the rest of y'all feel, but.
Well, it's fine, but it's just a place to put my ADD, so.
I hear
God
that.
forbid that you
I
should
think
put
I
it
have
towards the
to.
vehicles. Said that out loud.
But no, that was primarily what we had done last year, just between the two of us, and then Roland joined us just before we had started having meetings, and obviously you two came along. I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, you guys got the tail end of what was happening, because he'd actually almost hit every cemetery in town to make sure what they looked like, how they were acting, and so on and so forth. And we report back and forth. I'd meet him once in a while at a cemetery just to go over whatever we had to, and so on and so forth. Or we'd just meet just to say X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But, no, as far as the budget, I would start in January. Try to make sure you've got a budget that you're gonna be happy with.
Okay.
We have some type of a formula that the Warrant and Finance had put out. I'll have to get a copy of it, because last year I didn't do it. I just let them roll me over and call it a good day. This year, we'll look and see what they need for the formula to be done, and I'll see if I can get a copy of that by January, February. That way, we have the early part of the winter to look at a nice budget and hope that it will pass.
Well,
Okay.
like I said, once we do finish up our assessments of
The cemetery.
the cemeteries, it'll give us a better idea of what we actually are looking at, I know that you guys have already worked on, several cemeteries and whatnot, and, it's my intention that the budget's gonna at least double, I mean, $2,700 just is not a lot of money, not when you start talking about, having to make repairs or, having to buy some type of equipment. Not saying that we need to run right out and buy a whole bunch of equipment, because I don't think we do. I have chainsaw, I have lawnmower, I have weed whacker, I've got an industrial sized weed whacker.
Well, my
you
other
know,
thing is to that too, is blades and stuff like, and miscellaneous stuff.
you know, well, you know, yes, I mean, you know, we probably will have what we could possibly call consumable
Yeah.
items, you know, but, you know, I fully intend on, you know, pushing for more money this year than last year, you know, and than they have ever given the cemetery committee. You know, I mean, if we're gonna do this job, let's do it right,
So I feel
so.
Yeah, along with this, have you made a list of volunteers?
I do, it's maybe a dozen people, I don't have that with me, so, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, because I'm looking down through the notes and I see town email address, which was leading me into, I'm just gonna wait till you get there, so I'll wait for you to get there, then I'll bring up some other stuff.
Okay. Flags and flag holders, 3 reams or whatever,
Yeah, you probably need 3 rooms anyway.
which is 144 a ream.
Yep.
So we're thinking, what, 500-ish flags we need to buy? There's well over 100 alone in Maple Grove. I have not done an accurate count of how many vets are in Acton, but everyone obviously needs a flag. Some get damaged or destroyed. You know, we were at a cemetery the other day, and I don't know if it was something fell or a deer walked by, but yeah, the flag pole, the stick was broken. And if, you know, if we do have extra, you know, at the end of the, you know, end of the year, we just roll them over to the next year, so.
We can roll them over and use them throughout the summer, because we replaced a lot during the summer. We found that there were a few broken. Matter of fact, Mr. Revad actually met me at one of the cemeteries along with Steve, and he went along with his staple gun and stapling up flags. So we probably, well, especially out in the open more, where the sun gets them, they get beat down more. We're probably using a lot more than what we think. But yeah, I think that's a good start. And I gave him the information on, it's for 12 flags, it's $9 and some odd cents. It's on one of those paperwork underneath your next page, I think.
$9.48 for a 12-pack.
Yeah. And they don't go by the reams in there, they go by the 12-pack.
Okay, so,
Roughly $9.50 a dozen.
so I'm not gonna do any math right now, because,
No, it ends up being just like 380 some odd dollars.
And that's just flags.
And
that's just flags, yeah.
You know, when you start talking about the holders themselves,
Yeah.
you're gonna be talking a lot more money.
Well, the goal with the holders that we've been discussing, and I don't know if you guys want to join in on that or not, is we'd like to be able to match the holder with what they did for war services. In other words, if they're a Revolutionary War, we'd like to have them a Revolutionary War soldier. If they're,
That's a good
and that's
thought.
our goal, but we can't just do that and get rid of what we have for USA flag holders, because that would be waste, and we'd have to figure out where we could use those better. But that's one of our goals. And the other thing we've talked about, we know that there's a couple of Revolutionary War soldiers that actually only have footstones versus a stone themselves. We'd like to see about what it would take to either get a hold of the government or the records to have that fixed, so they actually get a stone like Mr., was it Watson?
Mr. Watson, yes.
Yeah. I got one last summer that you all did. We'd like to see about getting those done. I'm not saying do every one of them, but, 1 or 2 a year maybe, until we're caught up, or if we have the extra fund. I don't know what it would cost us for extra funds.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't know if it's legal, does it have to be something from the government to be
No.
a headstone? Because
No,
I'm pretty confident I can make headstones if I have to.
the ones like at Pillsbury, that you guys were at in Watson as well, those came from the government, doesn't cost us anything. It just costs a lot of time and paperwork.
Okay, that's good though. that-
But like Ron and Shapley got shot down a couple of times.
And I've
for-
gotten shot.
I've got friends that are trying to get headstones. I'm being told
So-
it's very difficult. to
So-
do
Ron
right
explained
now.
the red tape that's involved now.
Yeah, so if we do get shot down or whatever, or we just don't have the time or whatever, like with Watson, the family was coming up in July. Stan Arnold, who lives in Maryland, did all the paperwork and actually got the stone before we even started doing anything over at Watson. But if need be, I know Ron and Shapley had the family buy a stone that looks just like a VA stone, I don't know what the price was, $600 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I know it was just shy of $1,000.
Okay.
By the time.
So, I mean, we could, go the private route and make it look exactly the same.
Yeah, because all it is that when they do those stones, it's just a template, a piece of rubber plastic that they cut out the numbers and they sandblast. That's how they make the names in those stones.
Yeah, because that was like one of our goals, depending upon,
Yep.
cost, what we find. I know that we've talked a couple of times with Mr. Eva, and he's actually given us some good ideas, and I'm hoping that we can grab a hold of him a couple more times to help out a little bit more also.
Yep.
But that was one of our, just to let you know, that was one of our goals, is to make sure those that have field stones that serve, get rid of the field stones, because like I told him, what I'd like to see is like they do down in Springvale, you put the bed on one side and the wife on the opposite side. The only reason is because she also, the two that we're looking at, they also have the field stones. So if they, and you're killing two birds with one stone, if that's a possibility, versus buying a separate stone for each of them. Would you find out about signs, Steve?
Oh, I have done absolutely nothing with it. So we're looking to get, like a sign that says Brackett Cemetery, circa 1820 or whatever it might be. There's a Maple Stone School in Acton on Milton Mills Road. They do kind of like construction. It's like a trade school, I guess, for high school kids. I guess Keith
Keith
Davis, I guess, had talked to Lois in the past, said, hey, I could do that for you guys, make signs. I don't know if it would cost us anything or if he's donating, the kids' time and.
Would it be wood or would it be,
Well, that
so
was
is it
kind of what we were-
perishable? or-
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, we could get woods, metal signs, maybe through Dasco or somebody else, like the green ones that, historical signs.
And I just found a sign place, and I don't know if they'll do it, I'll double check, online that somebody sent me out of Augusta, at a DOT for signs. And you can self-make signs. I'm gonna see what they actually have to say about that. The decision we have to decide if we wanna go metal or wood. Obviously, the ones that you guys see out there now were done back at the fourth centennial we have in town of Acton. My aunt all went along and did all the cemetery signs. And what few you see that are left, that was when we were at 150 years. Now we're at 187, so that was over 30 years ago. So they didn't really, they held up all right, but they didn't hold up the way they should because they were wood. Now, if we go metal, are they gonna rust in the process? This is something that we kind of have to decide one way or the other, how we feel is best gonna work.
I will try to reach out to Keith, see what he says, if he's still wanting to do this. And then if we do, whichever way we go, we gotta figure out what we want it to
It
look
might
like.
be wood for short term and then.
And it might look nicer like in the woods or, along some of the smaller routes, it's like some nice wood sign, it's more rural looking as opposed to something industrial, I guess. So I'll find out about Mr. Davis and then,
And more than likely, if you go through Keith, it will probably be a wooden sign. I think that's what we discussed. I just couldn't remember if he said it would cost, or if we had to get I couldn't remember if we had to get the wood. I couldn't remember the whole details. I just know I talked to him like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even longer.
okay. I have not done anything on trying to find a gravestone restorer.
Makes two of us.
Yeah. The biggest issues I see with the cemeteries in Acton is just most of them still don't look good, as far as, vegetation and trees and just overgrown and whatnot. The other part is there are so many stones that are down, broken, down, missing, or whatever it is. And we could take care of most, if not all, of the broken down stones on our own. It just, there's a small handful of people to do it, and it's all.
Some of them might
Yeah.
be, and some of them
I
won't.
mean, even the two that we put up at Brackett, it just
It
took a
us
couple
The whole
hours.
time, yeah.
Yeah. So it's time consuming and, we all want things done now as opposed to a year from now. But if we could find somebody that could do quality work, we just don't want somebody to throw something together and, not look good or damage the stones or have it fall apart in 2 years. What we want to do is, make it last another 100 years,
Lasts long enough, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, till after we're long and
Yep.
gone.
Someone's taking care of our stones.
Yeah, the next group.
I know I showed, or I told you, and I told you too, about the Brackett Cemetery on Milton Mills Road that, what was his name? Aaron Doherty?
Doherty, yeah.
1987, I found some paperwork at the Historical Society.
Oh, that's right.
He did an Eagle Scout project, he and some friends cleaned up the cemetery, and they put up 2 or 3 stones, and there's photos and stuff, and those 2 stones are still standing 30 years later. So whatever they did, these teenagers did a good job, so.
Yeah, because as an Eagle Scout, they had to do it all on their own, so that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, that was amazing, because I remember that being done. That was at the Simon one, that was the one up.
Yeah.
On Milton Road itself.
Yeah. So if anybody can find somebody that can do this stuff, you know, hey, this is my job and I do it 40 hours a week.
Or if there's an Eagle Scout out there somewhere that
Yes,
might join,
yes,
like they have a
Good luck with
project.
that.
Yeah. Roland did some research on GPSs. What we want to do with this is take them out to each location, get an accurate GPS as opposed to, you know, Google mapping it or something with a phone. And so we can get the location of every cemetery, and then we could actually, you know, do each grave site if we have to. And then I guess we can download this to,
We should be able, what I was thinking is that we should be able to download, you know, off from the GPS unit to
Town hall.
the
Code enforcement?
code enforcement officer's computer so that we can have it on an overlay. Okay? That way, we'll have we'll actually have 2 records of it. You know, we'll still have the information, you know, available to us from, you know, in the GPS unit. But, you know, it'll also be in the town's computer, okay? And if somebody wanted to, you know, they could say, hey, show me where all the damn cemeteries are in the town of Acton. Let me print you off a copy of that.
And the
No, I
other
like
thing,
that idea.
and the other thing that's gonna go on that supposedly this fall, this is kind of why they've been after us to make sure we get everything right, kinda, is that Kenny has an overlay map downstairs, and then Jennifer's actually gonna upgrade it this year, I guess. They're actually gonna put cemetery as a tablet. And that's why they're hoping that we could have the coordinates and know where things are before they do that, because it's costly, obviously, but that's something that's in their budget this year to get done. So I just want to let you all know, that was one of the goals, even before you all came on, that was one of the goals. I felt it was more important for the CEO to have it, because when he goes and gives out building permits, he needs to know that the cemetery there, and there's so many feet he needs to stay away from, because some people don't realize that they have to stay so many feet away, and he doesn't know where they all are in town. He doesn't even live here in town, he lives in another town, and he doesn't know. You know, he just hopes that when they come and get it, that everything's fine. And then he doesn't want to see me come in and get after him.
Well, the other good thing about it too is once we've visited all of these spots, like we did 4 week and a half ago, and you put them all on your phone as far as the GPS locations and whatnot. Once we do all of these, and we do hit every one that we can possibly find, then there'll be no question. You know, bingo, 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 bingo. How many do we have? Oh, we got 93. I thought it was 78. No, 93. You know, I mean, I know of 2 more that we missed.
Oh, I know there's a couple more for sure.
Yeah.
Is there any positive to mapping the actual grave sites themselves?
I think it would be, I've seen, I think it was Waterboro, I saw this a few years ago online, you know, and they had a map of each cemetery and where each thing was. And as you guys have seen, just with the bracket alone, almost all those stones that are visible now, a year ago, only 3 or 4 of them were. So God forbid they get neglected again, or something
Because
happens.
that is something I've experienced that unfortunately from a friend. So I've had to lay out grave sites before. So I've got all the software at home to do that.
That's actually another good idea too, because some of these family members can be buried in their family cemeteries. You know, and the last burial was
I've
on,
clipped that many times.
yeah.
So, but that's something I can do for the group.
That'd be great.
So what did you,
Because all I'm doing is taking out a paper, like grid paper, and I'm actually going up, because he was with me, I'm
Yeah,
actually
if
printing
you
it out.
even do
Old-fashioned
that
way.
and give
Yeah.
me dimensions and stuff, then I can create a template that is used for you all that, you know, we can do that and have that as pages.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So what is your recommendation on the GPS? Did you get a chance to review
Yeah, I
it?
did look at them all. This price got cut off, but yeah, it goes from a couple $100 to $350 or so.
They don't give those away.
What's that?
They don't give those away.
No, apparently not. Yeah, I did like this one here,
The
the most
three.
expensive one, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the one that, to me, gave us the most. You know, it definitely, you know,
Well, it's foolish not to get something that's not gonna give us what we
So.
want.
well,
these
exactly,
things
you know,
do
I mean, it's something that,
plot the
Because
coordinates.
it's not something like we can return every
Could
time.
that be a
there
little
is, as long as
smaller?
it gives
Yeah.
updates and does what we want, and
It-
even if it's costly.
it can be
No.
updated. You know, it's not, I don't think it's, I don't believe it was a lifetime update.
No, more than likely, it's so many months or so many weeks
but,
or so many times.
I don't know, like the GPS for my vehicle, I plug it in every few months,
Does it?
yeah. I mean, the only thing that ever cost me was when I got Canada maps. But like that one's got
I think we have
worldwide.
to go that far.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
yet.
So it says 1-year bird's eye satellite imagery subscription?
Yeah,
To
that's
subscribe.
that's a renewable subscription. I mean, it comes with a 1-year subscription, but it's renewable if you wanted to. But primarily what I was looking at is, you know, does it have the ability to store, you know, more than just, in other words, can you put a SIM card in a damn thing, you know, that you can take out and plug into the damn computer over here, you know, et cetera. And that's what I was looking at as far as, you know, being able to, I don't want to just be able to locate things in this handheld unit. I want to be able to download them,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, that
And,
would be,
you know,
that would, to me, that would be best, only because there's 5 of us here, we all work separately a lot of times at home. I know I do, a lot of times he contacts me during the day and asks me about X, Y, and Z. This is used to be the joke, he was the field guy, and I was the person staying home, okay, let's see where we can find this, I'll give him an idea, and he'd take over and see if he could actually, if that was where it is. But that's kind of something that's nice about being able to have independency and being on our own.
but I think that,
guys want to
that
take those
one
home, maybe?
that is 343 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best one, you know, for us to purchase.
Yeah, they can take those home and they can
Yeah,
give
that'd
it
be
a
fine.
once
You
over.
Yep,
guys-
because
you
we
guys
don't really
can
need to make a decision.
This one's
between now and-
$6.63.
Yes.
If you guys would like to take those with you, and you can either concur or not concur, and
We can talk about
This
it
is
at
a
the next
whole
meeting.
different technology than I'm used to.
I'm not, you know what, I can't, I don't
I
know
have a
how to do it.
TomTom.
I'm lucky I get point A, point B. You said Jay, you said you want to add something with the town email?
Well, I wanted to bring it up, and you may have done this already. Do you have a website, or is there a website connected to the town hall's website? Because the reason I was thinking, I took video at the last one. There are plenty of people who took pictures, and this was leading into the volunteers. As more and more people have access to know about this, I'm finding people want to help. They really, for some reason, are behind restoring graves, and part of it's fascination, part of it's history, part of it's everybody's got a family member somewhere. But there's a lot of benefit that can come from some of the videos of the ceremonies that happen, and just getting the word out there that this is going on, to even try to help find some of the cemeteries. You'll find if people know about this, they'll start contacting you to let you know where these places are.
And believe me, I have been contacted.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
already knew, the ones that they already contacted me, I already knew about, but I appreciated.
But
that they
there's
came out
definitely
and
a
found me.
plethora of photos already floating around out there, and right now we have access to only what we've done ourselves.
The befores and afters are interesting.
Yeah,
People are
um,
like, oh,
Because,
wow.
not to carry it too far, but I mean, I could see like a PBS special or something on this sort of stuff. I love watching documentaries, and these things are fascinating. So other people find it fascinating.
I don't know how that would work. I know that we use them for a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, they actually went to they should have gone to the cemetery when you did
Watson.
Watson's.
Yeah, there was a lady,
Vicky, not Vicky, what's her name? I can't
Virginia?
remember her name. Virginia, yeah. She was over
yeah,
there.
yeah,
And she said she enjoyed it. I'm glad you guys had such a good turnout. That was more
Yeah,
my
that was-
concern.
that was great.
You know, and people flock to this sort of thing, which I didn't know this until recently. That's,
Me either, because I met you guys over at the Pillsbury one.
Yeah,
So,
we invited ourselves to that one.
well, I kind of invited myself to that one too.
so.
I asked about it. But yeah, I could ask around. I know, like I said, we primarily use these guys. I know I know Jennifer has a town website, but I don't know if she has the capability of being able to click in and maybe go to a YouTube. I'm not sure. Because this is what this goes to, is to a YouTube type of deal.
I know on the Shapley website, Ron has a cemetery committee link on the town website, and then when you click on it, it's basically just the old burial records and, you know, his contact information. If we could, yeah, throw that, something like that here.
I can ask
We
Jen.
could probably get that done, you know. You know, it's gonna, you know,
Well, I know she had said something about updating her own website sooner or later, but it was going to be costly. So I'm not sure if that's what they've decided to do or not. I can ask her if that would be on.
But it's just an idea.
Yeah.
I like the
Um,
idea.
One thing I haven't done it recently, but I do through the Historical Society, is I have posted pictures of before and after of cemetery cleanups that we've done. And I've got all the cleanups that we've done this year that I need to load up, the Watson ceremony, the fire event. So it's like that stuff's on my agenda, and a lot of people do react to that. They love to see that kind of stuff, and people all across the country. Oh, I'm from Maine, blah.
That's the first one we ever had in Acton, so I heard that was a great turnout. And people
Yeah.
showed up that I really didn't expect. Because there's a few that we had met and we told them about it. I didn't know if they'd show or not. And Steve was telling me, yeah, they showed. And I thought that was great because they live on the other side of town. And I never thought in a long time that they would show.
Let's see. So, yeah, and so we got to talk to Jennifer about,
Yeah, I'd have to talk to Jen and see if they're actually going to revamp their website and see if we can actually get onto the website. Like,
we should be able to.
we should be able to.
Shouldn't be any problem at all.
And if we can update our own page, or if we have to vet it through a webmaster.
right. One thing that Ron found out several years ago is he listed all the people in Chapley that have died.
Yeah,
but-
be careful with that.
Yeah, there is, if somebody dies today, you have 25 years before you can put that name
I
online.
thought it was longer than that.
I thought he said 25. I could double check, but yeah, if somebody, like half the people at Maple Grove can't be online, I guess.
It's some silly law.
Yeah, but you can go to Find a Grave,
Well, that's
or you
like-
can read the obituaries, and,
I actually asked Jennifer for some information, because she has the ones that go back before when we were all just numbers versus our whole town. And I asked her about it. She said she had to double check the law herself to see what she can release and what she can't release, because I guess in some cases, you can't even release the medical part. In other words, if you died of congestive heart failure, depending upon where it's located, you can't even release that. So she was gonna look into it for me, but she's been a busy girl between taxes and elections right now. But yeah, that was, because she was telling me herself about that. Even though, like you said, if you go on to Family Legacy, the one out west, it has a lot of information on it, and it has a lot of Acton on it. It gives you the listing of people and what
Must
they,
be in Salt Lake City,
yes.
the Mormons, yeah.
Yes, the
They
Mormons.
keep meticulous.
But I'm careful of them too. I'm careful of any website like that, because I actually had an argument with them about my grandfather. Obviously, I know who my grandfather is and the name of my grandfather. They were determined it wasn't that particular. Wrong. So it took me over a year and a half to even get that straightened out, because I had to go through an act of Congress basically to tell them, no, you're wrong. So very careful of those things too.
Okay.
We have 2 new members. They sort of signed up at the end of the last meeting, and they got vetted and approved by the Board of Selectmen, so welcome Jay and Tracy, and
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy it and stay with us beyond the year.
volunteer logs. I started this, actually, I started when I worked with Ron and Shapley, but just continued over into Acton here. Just, I keep getting a daily log of where I am, what kind of mileage I'm doing, what kind of work, what cemetery. I can send you guys the blank thing. And I really only kept it as far as actual work, not like meetings or like when we went up to Acton Ridge a couple weeks ago. I didn't like count that. But just more, actual physical, hard labor kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you have a template, then
Yeah, so I'll send that out to everybody.
apt to write it down than if I just go home and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna write it down somewhere, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I know I've asked you guys a couple times, how many hours you guys have already done.
Yeah, because in a way, when you guys add up your hours, make sure if you have it by spring, it'd be really nice. So when we present the budget, we can say, hey, it took this many hours just to get done what we've gotten done, and we ain't even 3/4 or a quarter of the way there, or an eighth of the way there. That way, maybe it will also sink into other people who are in finance as well as the selectmen thinking, well, they're getting the work done. It's just the idea that they need more funds to get it done.
More funds, more volunteers.
Yeah, I hear you.
Let's see, and my list is, my cemetery list. I pretty much have not added anything recent within the last, well, the cemetery list that I started off with came out in 1964, 65. And for the big cemeteries, the modern ones that still accept incoming, I have not really added. So Maple Grove, Acton Corner, and Bragg Sanborn, which are across the street from each other. If we could get somebody, a volunteer who could walk through, write down all the stuff that's not in there, that would just be helpful.
As far as Maple Grove, a lot of it's down the new section. I
Yeah,
mean, we have very few up in the upper and behind the church and
Okay.
to the, what do you want to call it, to the right of it. There's not very many up in there that are fairly new, but most of it will be down below the stone wall and on the new section.
flags and flag holders for the firefighters. I know a lot of towns, this one included, do put out the red firefighter flags. And then they do have firefighter holders. I saw one
Yeah,
that actually said Acton Fire Department.
that was an old one.
Yeah, that was old, and so that guy was like World War II era, and then his son died not too long ago. He's got a regular, just newer one, it just says firefighter. Who pays for,
Actually, the fire department pays for the flags and the holders.
Okay,
I talked them right into that. They didn't know they had an expenditure budget for that. And there isn't a lot of them. I have a small list, and I probably gave it to all of you guys. It's less than a sheet long. And most of them are what we go to and what we see. The new fire chief had no idea that that was his responsibility, so I told him, give me the flags and the holders, the list of the names, and hi ho, off I go. And that's basically what I did.
okay.
And I figured if we're gonna do it for that, we might as well I've got a handful, we might as well hang on to them and do what we have to do. The only ones that I go outside of town on are 3 of them, and they go to Milton Mills Cemetery. They're firefighters for the town of Acton, but they're down in Milton Mills, and the only 3 I skip out, but I'm only 5 minutes down the road, so. Out of respect for the fire station.
Yeah, so we can, like she said, we can flag them, or if the fire department just says, hey, you know what, we want to honor our own, then they can.
Either way, I've revamped their list for them.
Okay.
Been several times over there to try to give it to the fire chief. Unfortunately, he hasn't been around due to this, that, or the other thing. And so I just kept the list. I figured he'll catch up with me sooner or later, or I'll catch up with him sooner or later.
The big old cemetery list that I have, when I was doing research on property owners, there's one that John Frost listed as, he wasn't sure if it was Acton or Shapley, so he listed it in both towns.
Where's that one?
Lothian Green, okay, I found out it's actually in Shapley, at least according to the GPS coordinates that Ron has. It's probably a half a mile from Acton. It's off of Town Farm Road, it's just nothing but woods and trails and stuff. It's one guy, I haven't seen it myself, but it's one headstone, and his epitaph says, "He died happy." So he was 23, he must have had a good life, so. I would like to,
Very short.
yeah, I would
What was
like,
the name again?
Luthen or Lothan Green.
Green?
It's not in there.
Oh, it's not.
I took it off the property owner list, and I took it off the cemetery list.
Well, the other thing we have too is I've got to also look, when we go back up towards Roland's house, obviously we missed two more, which I think I know the two we missed. But also, heading towards Wakefield more, there's a couple up there on the line too. And I'm thinking that Samuel Cobb that you wanted might be one of those. Because there's two, from what I understand, they're right on the Wakefield-Acton line. I'd have to go out, we'd probably have to search for them, but I think it's also listed in Frost's book,
Okay.
that he gave us them too, only because he wasn't sure, because back then lines were
Yeah,
lines.
He died happy.
he died happy.
I can only
Actually,
imagine.
I gave you, probably in your green book, and you've got a copy of that. It's because I gave you a copy of everything that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Alright,
that's,
so-
that one's out of date as far as
Alright,
updated stuff that I've added in the last few months. I also I'm working on the original list that Frost came up with the original directions and the original amount of cemeteries, which is probably 2/3 of what we have now.
The directions that say where so-and-so lives.
Yeah,
it's been
yeah,
dead for
behind
like
Aunt Mamie's
40
house.
years.
Houghton House is where we had fun.
Yeah.
That's where, thank God, Dean Knight knew what we were going to do and what we were looking for, because I went to his house, we had to walk so many yards away and go up in the field so many yards away.
Yeah.
But he knew where we were going. And I said, thank God, I think you can find it again, I would.
Yeah, I
probably
did.
have to
I've
circle.
been back there. But it took a little bit.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and some of the old timers do know some of the old names, and like a lot of the road names have changed. But some people,
The school road used to be called something else.
Yeah.
Star Route, something.
Yeah, it used to be Star Road,
Star Route.
Lebanon.
And then Farm Hill Road is now the same road, Milton Mills Road.
And Orchard Road wasn't Orchard Road back then.
No.
It was Winchell Lane, Winchell
Yeah.
Road.
Winchell Orchard Road, yeah.
yeah, so once I'm working on it to where it's all alphabetical by cemetery name, whatever. Once I get that all done, I'll print out a copy for everybody to put in your green binder
At
there.
that time, when you get to that point, you probably ought to update the copy I have here in Town Hall, 'cause I did give them half a
Okay.
list. I gave them like 40 last spring, only because that was the 40 we knew about.
Yeah, anytime they want me to email to them, or anytime I make a correction, I can swamp their email.
Because I know that, I told them we only got maybe half done at the time. I knew that we had another half to go, so. And they just looked at me funny when I handed them, because it wasn't a small packet, it was a good-sized little packet. What would you like, Lou?
I had further conversation with James Langley.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
He's funny. I like him a lot.
he is a fountain of information that is not to be, taken lightly. There is a cemetery that we have not visited yet. It's on the H Road. It is approximately 25 or so yards past
Across
the
the street from
red.
Bragg's.
Right.
Is that,
It's out in the woods. There is a blue metal gate sitting, you can still see the blue metal gate sitting there, but it is out in the woods. So we will be having
I know
another
that one.
fine trek.
The one
yeah,
I'm gonna have problems finding, and I might have to ask Jim, is that one I told you down by Catherine Harding's.
yeah, there's a veteran there that,
Yes, you gotta go beyond Catherine Harding's and go out through the woods and kind of take all right turns until you get to it. You're kind of coming right back around, but it's out in the woods more. And
now,
those are two veterans.
last month, we said we're gonna do a site visit this Saturday. Are
How
we
wet's
good?
it gonna be and what?
I think Friday and Saturday is supposed to be good.
It's Sunday night, but
Sunday.
it's sounding not
Yeah.
so.
I know you guys said you were working the bracket. Is that what you said?
I don't know, are you working or are you gonna work at the cemetery Saturday.
The
You
28th.
need to go to the cemetery, go to the cemetery. If not,
Well, I can't go Sunday, so.
I'll decide, I don't know yet.
Yeah. Did you guys, are you still good for Saturday?
What time? I won't be able to go all day, but I go.
Yeah.
Like 9 to 2 or 9 to, mid-9 to 12 or?
Yeah, we can,
You're gonna be in the
Well,
same
we-
neighborhood up on the,
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if we
up
got
on the
those
ridge,
two,
we've got, we've got to go down to the place that has the for sale sign.
Yeah.
that
I
place.
don't remember.
You have it, Brett Purvis.
Purvis, yeah. We got to go find him. And then the one that I just mentioned, the one that's off the H Road. Jimmy says he can find that.
When you asked, I know the one off the H Road, when you ask him if he remembers where the one is back at Catherine Harding's.
Who?
Catherine Harding, she used to be our town treasurer. She died, she's actually heading towards Bulch. Dam. Ask him if he knows where that one is located, because that's the one I think I'm gonna have issues. That's why I'm kinda waiting for the tree to,
Okay,
Who's his
I'll
lead?
see if I can touch base with Jimmy.
and there's 2 veterans in that one.
Oh, he also gave me some info on that white stone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The guy that owns that property found that stone. It wasn't in the grave, site or anything.
found it on
He just
site?
found it on the property. And he just leaned it up against the damn tree.
so there's this big half stone, it's probably that thick too.
What kind of stone do you think that is?
Oh, that was marble.
Was it marble?
Yeah. It's leaning against a tree, you can see it from the road. And it says, like the bottom portion of it says, was born in Limerick, Ireland or something.
You took a picture of it, didn't you?
Yeah. We don't know what the upper half says, but apparently he found it on his property, so now there's another,
There's the other piece too.
so, yeah.
Good
More
question.
mysteries, so,
Well, the problem we've got is when they move one half, usually they're not too far from each other. They're usually one direction or the other, which we found that up at Acton Corner. If this person had left that there and maybe set it up or whatever he or she did, we don't, if they moved it, then, well, the chances of us finding the other half is
yeah.
nil and none.
It's
But if
it's
they left it, we would've been able to-
significant,
I
that this
thought there
piece.
was
Well-
one here that said
Well,
was
we
from
thought there
Limerick.
was,
Was it
but-
in this?
I don't know, but it does ring a bell.
Yes. we
Yeah, I
thought
know
there
I had
was
seen
one
that, but I thought it was a
in
woman.
there. I bet it
I
might
thought it
be.
was a woman.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
That's that would have been quite a substantial stone.
It's a
You
good
know,
size
I'm, not saying that, it couldn't have been a woman's stone, but that is quite a substantial stone.
It had to be,
It had to be a good
Yeah.
2 foot wide.
Simple metal detector will probably pick up metal. I don't want to dig, of course, but once you find the indentation, if you're getting beeps,
yeah.
chances are that's the grave.
And-
The other stone's gonna be there.
50 yards away is the cemetery we were looking at.
All right, we got a mystery cemetery. It's over on Square Pond. Steve found it, we know where it is.
The
Oh,
Goose Pond.
Goose
Road.
Pond. right
Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
Yeah, we went and looked at it.
So anybody that can think about, anybody out there that can think about why it's a mystery and who it might belong to, or who might be buried there, it'd be really great if they got a hold of us. It's,
Poke in the ground,
yeah, well,
see what
that's
we
what
can
I was
find.
thinking, we probably need a rod.
bigger rod than I had, because I couldn't find,
I went through, I broke actually, I broke a stick that I was using and I couldn't go any farther down with my knife.
I found 2 sunken graves, or we found 2 sunken graves, and I poked around and we dug up some rocks. But nothing,
But it's weird because it's a
It's
cemetery within a cemetery. When you look at it, there's obviously
It's a neat-
another
Neat place.
raised,
Yep,
I've talked to the deeds records. It was basically the Hubbard family, it got sold to the Hurds in the mid-1800s. And there's references to people being buried there, but then across the street is the Hurd Cemetery, and a lot of them are buried there.
and it's not in this list that Frost.
I wanna say it's in Boyd's book, but you gotta take a look at it, I'm only at page 117. I wanna say I saw it there, because I remember telling Steve, but I thought it was farther down towards Square Pond. But I remember telling Steve that there was another one up there, and that might be the one. I just have to find out throughout the book where. Of course, it's like a 400 or 500 page book, so being where I'm at, it's only like a quarter of the book. So I'm still plugging on it. I do so many pages out of whack, and while I'm going through it, I pick out what he's got for veterans, in case we don't have them on our list.
You need those for Saturday?
No, I don't think so. You guys are just gonna do a...
Yeah, we got half an hour maybe. We get the measurements. Here's the copy. I haven't done these up nicely yet, but we get the basic information about the cemetery, what condition it's in, you know, the surrounding, what it looks like inside. So we could sort of just do a triage of which cemeteries we need to really focus in on. Obviously, like Brackett needed a lot of attention, but some that the 4 that we saw were not that bad. So I was really
I think you'll
hopeful.
find,
That's an interesting.
I think you'll find Mr. Langley took care of his own.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
And
so we need that. We need
either
more of
or
that.
David.
That cemetery was in fantastic shape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
For its location.
Which one?
any of the Langley
one of the
cemeteries
Langley's
are good.
ones.
It's, what is it, Langley?
We have
100 yards.
Valentine Langley, we have Jonathan
Well, that's what the
Langley.
V is. I was gonna ask you.
We have, Brad,
Yeah, that one.
Bradstreet.
Bradstreet
So
Fox.
is
is
it
it
taken
maintained
care of?
currently, or
Oh,
is it?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, it's
So, out
very
of the
well maintained.
90-something, there might be a few that we
Yeah.
don't
The
have.
only
So-
one that wasn't maintained, and I don't know if it wasn't because nobody knew it was there, or just because it was down, was the one
The last one.
behind Bill Lobster's house.
Oh,
When we went
that
down
actually
the
wasn't in
woods.
bad shape.
It wasn't in bad shape,
No,
but we took the long way around because Jimmy told us to take it. I should have gone to Bill's house and just knocked on the door and gone through.
exactly. It would have been much quicker.
Well,
Yeah.
Bill told us to go down here and chase a stone wall.
So
and
back
come
to Saturday.
Saturday, so you want to meet at your,
You want to meet up there?
Meet at the same
Um,
place.
What do you want to do? 10 to 1? 3 hours?
10 to 1?
That should be good enough. That should be enough time to take care
Okay.
of the 2 or 3 that
Yeah, and like I said, if you can talk to Jim about that other one, that'd be great.
I'll
Because
see if I can
we're not-
touch base with Jimmy.
Actually, we can swing down by Claire Bragg's and go out to the one, you probably know where those two are. The two, when you go out on towards
What, down Main Road?
down Man Road and all that.
Oh, yeah, they got,
They have two.
yeah, the heat,
One's right in the field, which Mr. Man takes care of.
yep,
Yep.
and then there's
And I
one
know
behind the,
about the one that, and I don't know about the other one. And it's a nice.
I was there last
cemetery.
year, it's big, and it,
Yeah.
you know, I took down some little trees and stuff, but, yeah, if we meet at the end of your road or whatever it is,
Sure.
are you guys gonna come out?
I can if I know where he lives.
Yeah, what's the name of your road?
Birchwood,
Birchwood,
Birchwood
so,
Lane.
so,
Acton Ridge.
Go all the way to the end of the H Road. When you get to the end of the H Road, that is Acton Ridge Road. You either make a right or you make a left. If you make a right, you're heading toward
Us.
Shapley, and if you make a left, you're heading toward Wakefield. Head up Acton Ridge Road, and it's going to be 1, 2, the third road on the left. Wait a minute. 1,
I know
Man
Ma-
Road,
I know Man
Man
Road.
Road,
'cause we
Abbott
looked at a
Road,
house
after
there.
and then mine. Yes, okay, it's the third road on the left. And we'll be right at the end of the road. It's a private road, it's a dirt road. It's right across from Dave Langley's farm.
and we'll just convoy to each place, or we could, you know, carpool.
Yeah, I was gonna
squeeze
say, you
some
guys
people
can
in.
carpool with that. versus-
All right, you can come pick me up then.
All right. Yeah, so you're not going Saturday?
I don't know yet, I'll
Okay.
decide tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, if not, I can pick you up and we can do that. Yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock, so I gotta wrap this up, and we're just about at the end anyway. Any other new business anybody can think of?
Other than when you're out walking, be very, very careful.
Yeah,
Because somebody likes to fall on holes in the process.
Well, also, first day of hunting season is Saturday as well.
Right.
well, that's true
orange,
too.
You bring your orange.
Yep,
Orange, orange, orange.
That is
Try-
true.
We'll try to stay out of the deep woods.
Yeah, but you still
yeah,
want
well, the
orange.
one, the one on the H Road is gonna be in the woods.
Yeah, that one is in the woods. I don't know, have you been to that one, Steve? The one across the street? Yes, because you met the other
Roland?
Roland.
Yeah, so it's,
It's behind his house.
yeah, I did see that one,
Yeah,
so,
Has another Roland?
yes.
Roland.
Oh, that one's,
This is
that one's a Roland, not a Roland.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
initially
you
I thought it was
definitely, you definitely have to watch out for the woodchuck holes.
Yeah, that one was not,
So I heard.
I'd like to clean that one up, but some of the older folks can't make it to there, so.
Thank you.
Next meeting, I think the last Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we might want to look at a different date.
I think we probably
Although if you want to
should.
skip your family and,
Well, you know,
Actually, I thought there was another Thursday. I thought
Oh, really?
30th was the last day of November.
no, I thought Thanksgiving was always like the last Thursday.
No.
No, yeah, the 23rd, I think, is Thanksgiving.
It's the,
30th.
what, third Thursday? Is that what?
4th,
That's how Lincoln described it. Fourth Thursday.
All right, yeah, so the 30th is the last day of the month.
you guys want to go for the 30th, the last day of the month?
I don't have a problem.
I have no problem with that.
All right,
Is
November
that
30th.
still,
Have to
still
rush to
keeping
another
on a
meeting.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday?
5 o'clock here, still okay? The only thing that will change now that we're getting into the weather, town hall will close if there's extreme weather. And usually Jen puts it on either Facebook or on her site. If the school is closed, the town hall is closed. So this is something you're gonna wanna be aware of as we get through the winter. Anyone in doubt and you think you can't make it, don't kill yourself and stay home. Because this Charlie Brown I lives about 2.5 miles from this place, and she's been able to stay home and she's good.
I don't blame you.
It's not worth your life.
Nope.
I've watched people get hurt just a half mile from home, so.
All right.
Shall we adjourn?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
So move.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Bye, see y'all next time.
Thanks.